Hello, hello, hello. It's Positive Tony coming to you on this Tuesday afternoon. How we doing out there in YouTube land? Hey, I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. Hey, I'm not going to keep you long today. I just wanted to make sure everyone is good. Everybody good? All right. Well, hey, for those who's coming in, I just want to say thank you so much for joining my YouTube live. I'm not going to stay on long, but today is Tuesday, and Tuesdays and Thursdays I post. So, in God's will, Tuesdays at 5, Thursdays at 5 is the days that I post. So, I hope that you come in and join me or join me on the replay. Okay. But hey, today we're going to talk about change is coming. That's the subject we're going to talk about today. Change is coming. Now, I always like to start my YouTubes off with a verse because one, I want to give God the credit for this and not Tony. Tony is nothing without God. So, like I stated in all my previous talks, I am not a licensed pastor. I'm not a licensed doctor. I'm a man of God. I am a human being. I'm a God fearing man. I love people. I love staying positive. But what we're going to talk about today is change is coming. And as I was looking through the scriptures, and one stood out in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." Okay. I say again, for everything there's a season and time for every matter under heaven. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about very briefly. You know, the reason I decided to talk about change today is because, as you see in this country, there's so many things going on that requires change, and a lot of us are not used to change. Whenever we know of something changing, then we start going into a panic attack. We're like, "Oh no, this isn't how we used to do it. This isn't how we do it." But just because you have change doesn't make it a bad thing. It's how you adapt to the change is what's important. We have change in our lives with kids being born, kids leaving the house, new marriages, uh, grandkids coming in, you know, age, you're getting older, or you move into a new neighborhood. There's all kind of changes that we could go through, but how you accept those changes is very important. Change is not going to affect the outcome as long as you keep God in the center. Sometimes when we try to do it on our own, that's when we mess it up. Okay, so whenever you're looking at making a change in your life, make sure that you come up with a plan. You know, Pastor Tony always going to tell you, have a plan prior to coming up with change. Just don't do something in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do." Make sure it's a thought out plan, and you make sure that if the change is going to happen, it's for the best. It's not something you're going to do just because you're bored or whatever. Whenever you making a change in someone's life, it has to be a purpose. There has to be a direction. It has to be motivation, and that's very important when it comes to change. Whenever you go into a situation, into a new relationship or new marriage, you got to make sure that whatever changes you made, you don't bring the negativity from your past relationships into your new relationship. Same thing with dealing with, you bring a new kid into the world. You can't treat them like you treated your last kid because that's a different human being. God created that person different. So we need to make sure that whenever change is coming, we prepare ourselves for it. Now, there's going to be times where, change isn't going to be for a good reason. There are some people that's in marriages right now that's very unhappy, unhealthy, and you're looking for a change. But what you need to do is you need to pray to God and say, "God, help me get through this change because I cannot do it alone." Change is never easy sometimes. We can make plans for changes, but the enemy is coming in to kill, steal, and destroy our changes. So you need to stand strong on God's word when it comes to change. If it was that simple, we could just wake up the next day and go, "Hey, I don't want to live here. I'm going to live this place today." Or, "Hey, I don't want this girl. I'm going to get the next girl tomorrow." Change is never that easy. And if you don't pray and ask God for deliverance, ask for guidance, ask for direction, that change can be catastrophic. It can cause all kinds of problems in the future. So make sure the change that you selected is intended. Like the word said, each season comes a change. We go through summer, winter, spring, and fall. And, your wardrobe changes, right? But it's because we expect it. It's on the calendar. because we live it from year to year to year. So we anticipate that change. Sometimes in life, we don't get that opportunity to prepare for change. So it's up to you, the individual, to prepare for that change in your life, whether it be good or bad. And I'm praying, Positive Tony is praying that that change that you want to make in your life is for the good. That's just like some women. I bless y'all heart. Y'all can change y'all look like that. Today I'm gonna wear weave. Today I'm gonna let my hair natural. Men, we can't change that much, but y'all can. All we can do is shave our beard off and mustache. But make sure the change that you do it for the better of yourself, to give God the glory in the end. Like I say, change is not a bad thing. And so know that change is coming. Now, I don't talk about a lot of religion and politics on my show because I want to uh, address everyone who comes on. But I do, you will hear, man, I ain't gonna deny God. So if that upsets you, I do apologize, but I'm not gonna deny God. But I am gonna say, with the election, change is coming into the White House, and half the country is accepting it, and half is not. But you know what? God is still on the throne. He did not change. He did not change. So whenever there's a change in a political realm, you need to make sure that you pray to God and say, God, prepare me for this change. Whether you support this person or you don't support this person, it's got to be God's will. If it's happening, it's God's will. If it's not, you will see things crumble. So you need to make sure that you pray and ask God, how can I prepare for this change? Because change is coming. Just like winter is coming. The only way you're gonna avoid that is move out to like one of them tropical locations where it's always summer. That's the only way you can prepare for that change. I think in Northern Virginia tomorrow they're gonna start seeing snow. Woo! I'm rebuking that. Don't bring that snow down in the Hampton Roads. We don't want that snow. But how do you prepare for the coming of change? Is by preparation, by prayer, and by planning. That's how you prepare for change, because change is coming in your life, whether you want it or not. Sometimes it's good change, sometimes it's bad change. Just like sickness, This COVID 19 has caused so many people to change their lifestyles. Sometimes, we were so used to just getting up and going, getting on the plane. CK Travel, she was planning all kinds of travel for her people back in the day. But guess what? Nowadays, people ain't traveling as much because of this COVID. So guess what? Business owners, they had to change their way too. They had to change the way they pay bills, the way they get their clientele. You have to prepare for change because change can happen at a drop of a dime. I lost a friend last week, and now her family has to prepare for change. Change is coming because they don't have that loved one anymore in their household. That's change that was not anticipated. But now you have to be able to adapt and overcome because life continues on. We miss our loved ones when they're not here, but we have to prepare because change is coming. Change is something that is going to happen even when we least expect it. Change is going to happen. Now, we do plan some changes, like when we're going to buy a home and we know we're going to move on an anticipated date. But you know what? That's because you're planning for that change. But still, there's possible obstacles could happen. I pray the obstacles don't happen during change, but you need to prepare for it. Because once change happens in your life, sometimes you can't go back. You have to move forward. So if it's not a positive change for you, you need to go into your prayer closet and ask God, how can I make this change positive for my life, for my kids, for my family? Because change sometimes would get us in a situation that we are so uncomfortable. And sometimes being uncomfortable causes us to do crazy things. So we need to make sure that we stay grounded. We need to make sure that we solicit help when we need. Sometimes we go through change and it causes despair, it causes stress, it causes unhappiness. But if you know you're going through a divorce, you know that that change is coming. So you need to prepare yourself mentally and spiritually. Mentally, spiritually, and financially, because change is coming. Change is not something that just we can just adapt and overcome. Pastor Tony, I moved into this home where I'm at now in 2018. And, I was living in a 1 story, and now I live in a 2 story. So I have stairs. I didn't have stairs. So change was coming because I purchased this home and it had a second floor. So I had to prepare myself to go up and down stairs to go to the kitchen when I'm used to just on one level going around the corner. So change is going to be there. You cannot avoid change. Change is going to come. Change is going to come sometimes when you go to church and you're sitting in, pre-COVID or post-COVID, whatever. You're sitting in church and sometimes God speaks to you and you, oh man, God, are you sure? Yeah, he's sure. Now you got the plan because God has given you direction for your life. Change is coming. That message that pastor preached that Sunday was intended for you to hear, meant that change is coming for your life. Now you need to plan, prepare, and execute. And you need to make sure that you stay in prayer during that change. That's the only way you can get through it faithfully. Just because you change doesn't make it a bad situation. A lot of us, if we have to change things, like, that's the way we did it back in the day. That's the way we did it back in. Just because you did it that way back in the day doesn't always make it the best change. Sometimes change is needed in your life. I was the type of person growing up that, whatever I knew growing up, I felt that was the best way. But as I got older, something that worked for me when I was younger doesn't work for me now. So I had to prepare myself for change because change was coming. One good change is, and I always talk about my mom, and I will to God doesn't give me a voice, but my mom always made me make up my bed when I got up in the morning. That was before the military. My mom was my first drill sergeant. And to this day, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do after I read my word and pray is I make up my bed. I cannot go to day without if you come to Pastor Tony's house and his bed is not made, he's sick, he's delusional, or he's getting back in his bed for whatever reason. But those are only 3 reasons. I cannot go to day with my bed not made. That's just a change that I adapted as a young kid, and through the military, it was mandatory. And now that I'm out of the military, that is a change that I don't want to change. Some things you don't change, you know, and if it benefits you for the good, then that's okay. Now, if I change, like I'm not gonna make my bed because nobody comes to my home but me. uh, some people can go the whole day and not make up their bed, and they totally fine with it. But that's not a change that I want in my life. Some people, they change um, their their attitude. They'll talk to some people really nice. Oh, you're so nice, yeah, blah blah. And then they'll talk to somebody and be like, yeah, whatever, whatever. They change their attitude. That one, they're like, um, I don't know, they're one way with one group of people and they're one way. Why not be the same with everyone? Why change because you want to impress this set of people and you just want this group of people to see that you don't really care? You should treat everyone fair and equally. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but we need to make sure that we don't change the way we treat people. Sometimes we change for the better, but sometimes we change for the worse. If you're having a bad day, why take it out on someone who really loves you? Why take it out on someone who cares for you? It seems like the people closer to you are the people that you hurt the most. I was looking at TikTok during my lunch today, and a lady said that it's a shame. Oof, oof. It's a shame that people that don't know you will congratulate you and not really praise you, but be proud of you on accomplishments. And people you've known your whole life won't even acknowledge you. They won't even look at you, won't even say thank you, won't say I'm proud of you or nothing. What is that about? Because, because I changed for the best, you don't want to acknowledge me? Come on now. Do people not know that jealousy is a sin? Whenever I see someone from my past do something, I'm so proud of them. But I don't always get it in return. But you know what? I think of God above and all the things He blessed me with, and it keeps me moving. It used to be a time where Pastor Tony would be like, "Oh, they didn't like it. I'm so down. I'm so depressed." And then God speak to me and say, "My son, do I not give you everything you need?" Yeah. Did that person pay your light bill? Did that person pay your water bill? Did that person pay your check? Give you your paycheck? No. Then why should I change and worry about somebody that's not inspiring me, somebody that's motivating me? Sometimes we have to cut people loose, and that's making a change. Change is coming because that person is not intended to go where God has you going. That's a good change. You've been with them so many years, but God has you on another path. They can't go on that same path that you're going. It's not intended for them to go. God has a special, different plan for you. So change is coming. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to handle that change? Are you going to buckle and go backwards because you're not ready to change? Are you going to go in your prayer closet and pray about the change? Are you going to plan? Are you going to prepare? Are you going to pray and move with that change? Because change is coming. Be prepared for change, whether it be good or bad. Change is coming. It's all about how you handle that change. Hey, this is Positive Tony. I tell you, I feel really good about this message because, a lot of us, we're not used to change. Just like the election, we're not used to change. Just like, COVID-19, we're not used to change. We're not used to wearing masks. You know how many times probably someone get out the car and get ready to go in the store and be like, "Oh man, my mask." And I'm sure some of you might have done that as well. We have to prepare for change because change is coming. All I ask is you do your part. Don't be part of the problem, but be part of the solution. Hey, I'm Positive Tony. I love you so much. I'll be on Thursday at 5 with a new message. I hope you enjoyed this. Everyone who came in, I love you. I see you. But make sure that you stay positive and spread this word. If you feel that this YouTube is helping you, share it with someone, And if they don't accept it, then I guess it wasn't meant for them. They're not there yet. If I'm saying something that offend you or something, let me know, but I'm only telling you what's in my heart. And if what's in my heart is meant for you to hear, it's coming out. Sometimes we might have to take negative news in a positive way to make ourselves better. Meaning that I can give you something and you might receive it negatively, even though I told you positive. But sometimes that positivity will come in you to remove that negativity out of you. That's how it works. All right. All right. Hey, Positive Tone out, man. I can talk. I can talk. I can talk. I love you guys so much. Stay positive. Remain positive. PT out. Peace.